All right, well, as the Commonwealth Games are coming to an end tomorrow, there's going to be a big closing ceremony, and at that point, the baton, in a sense, is going to be handed over to Scotland. The next Commonwealth Games are going to be there in Glasgow. Now, early this morning, I got the chance to speak to the First Minister of Scotland, who's the equivalent, I guess, of the Prime Minister of a country. He spoke to us about the Commonwealth Games experience, the sort of a host that India has been, and his own expectation of what Glasgow is going to do. And it now gives us great pleasure to welcome onto India Decides at 9, the Right Honourable First Minister of Scotland. Thank you so much for being here. Now, you, in a sense, are tomorrow going to be taking the baton for the Glasgow Games. How have you enjoyed? I know you only spent a couple of days and watched not too many of the games right now. How have you been enjoying the experience so far?
Yeah, but I intend to watch a lot more today. You know, like all politicians, it'll be exactly the same in India. You've got to be firm with your advisors and say, look, now's the time to watch the games. We've done all the business meetings, we've done all the business interviews. Let's get out and watch some of the games.
Right.
So that's I'll be doing quite a bit of that today. But look, it's fantastic. I mean, it's full of verve and colour, and India's doing so well in the medals. It helps enormously with the atmosphere of this wonderful international event.
Yeah, it started off very slowly and lots of pessimism out there before the games actually started, and then it seems to have picked up as it went along. Have you learned a lot of lessons as to how India approached the run-up to this?
Well, we one or two lessons, but you know, it's better to start slowly and finish strongly than to start strongly and finish slowly. So I mean, a strong finish is what people remember. I mean, I was at the Ryder Cup recently, you know, the great golf event, which Scotland is also hosting in 2014 when we're hosting the Commonwealth Games. And it was in Wales, and they were very upset because it was raining all the time in the first 2 days. And I said to the Welsh First Minister, the Welsh leader, look, as long as you get the last day, that's what people will remember, and that's what happened to them. And it's a bit like that with the Commonwealth Games here in Delhi. It's finishing very, very strongly, and that's the memory that people will have of this wonderful, spectacular and immensely successful games for India. So you say we're taking the baton from India. We'll make sure not to drop it, but to carry it on.
You've, of course, spoken to some of your officials and the athletes out here. At the end of the day, what's the message you've got from them? How have they enjoyed the experience, the village?
They've had a wonderful time. I mean, the Scotland team has also been performing well, and we're very happy with the achievements of our athletes. I mean, there's great camaraderie and there's great friendship, and they've had a fantastic time in the village with the Indian and the other teams.
I do have a message for you, which some of the Indian athletes, including Sushil Kumar, who's the world champion, and you know the rest. He said if he ever got a chance to speak to any of the Scottish officials, we should convey this message: please don't chop wrestling from the agenda next time around.
I'm sure the Indian Association knows that the Commonwealth Federation really decides which events you can have. I mean, you know, we won a medal in one of the events, which currently is not one of the swimming events, which is not guaranteed to be in the Glasgow Games. So obviously, I know exactly how you feel. Yeah,
you're going to be there at the closing ceremony with your own. Is what's an 8-minute segment?
That's correct. Yeah.
And any sort of, I don't want to get the exact details out of you, but anything which you can let leak a day in advance?
Well, I think, you know what I liked about the opening ceremony? It was distinctively Indian. I mean, it was as the rest of the Commonwealth would like to see India presented and present itself, and that's why everybody loved it so much. And therefore, our segment will be distinctively Scottish, and that's surely what the Commonwealth's about, that people can rejoice in each other's distinctiveness and see what that adds to the Commonwealth nation. So, what I can tell you about...
you don't have 60,000 shots of single malt for the crowd, do you?
Well, you know, if only we could have got them through the import taxes, then we'd have done that, of course.
The import taxes, of course, a very touchy subject there.